I give, but always till there, because I need to keep for myself. Because I feel in case if I don't have enough. And lately I feel I want really to let go of that. I want to loosen up.
You know, I think it's a reflection of everything in your life. You don't trust. You're always protecting. Money, partner, whatever. There's always that constant protection. So it comes from that space. It doesn't mean you have to give everything. But what you give easy. Because you feel abundant. Because you trust. You trust in the universe. You trust you'll create what you need. And you provoke. You provoke that through giving. It's just a habit. But you have to change it in every aspect of your life. Let go of the control. And trust your heart. You know, most people have reserves. But extreme reserves. Lots of people. So you have to question that. Am I like that in every aspect of my life? Do I only give so much? Do I only love so much? Am I always calculating if I'm winning or losing? You have to see that. Because that's a very sad way to live. And I know lots of very wealthy people that live like that. But in every aspect, always non-trusting, non-trusting, non-trusting. Always feel like they're getting ripped off. Or there's not enough love, not enough time, not enough money. Not enough. It's a classic victim. And you just have to learn to trust. That's it. That's it. And you'll create what you need. You always create what you need. I always see you. You must create it. Or no? Good, so trust more and you'll create more. I'm not really the guru of how to create financial abundance, okay? You know, I'm the guru of how to create abundant love.
Lately, I see that when I look at myself in the mirror, I cannot see my body as it is because it's always the judgment about fat. Before I was comparing with the other people, with women, and it was the thought she is prettier than me. Now the comparison is not as much, but today in the silence I saw how I continue observing that constantly in people. Can you tell me how to do to love myself more? To love my body in an unconditional way and erase those judgments?
You know, the thing is, you are how you are. And when you're loving yourself, you see clearly. You don't have a judgment with your body. You appreciate your body. Because your body is your home. And that's what's important. You know, when we're young, we have this idea of what's sexy and what's not. And everything's based in our image. And it doesn't matter what we do, it's never good enough. There's always something wrong. You can have a perfect body, like a mannequin, and you still will find something wrong. But when you start to love yourself, you just start to appreciate your body. And you've just got to do that. You know, there's certain limits. You know, you're never going to look a certain way. And another person's never going to look a certain way. And the idea of the perfect body, such a small amount of people fit into that category. You know, it's like the perfect horse. It doesn't exist. There's always something that's not. So you have to start appreciating what you have. If you're healthy, if you're fit, you know, the weight goes up, the weight comes down. You know, you have to concentrate on being well. But obsessive, as a way to torture yourself, how does that serve? And you're sending that information to the body all the time. And there's certain things you just can't change. Not even a plastic surgeon can change them. You know, you can't go from being a chaparrita to 6 foot. You know, you can't make everything bigger, smaller, and make it look natural. You know, there's certain limitations to everything. But is it important? Is it important? Because everything's an opinion. Once we start to love ourselves, we feel attractive. When we feel attractive, people see us as attractive. When we're judging ourselves, we never feel attractive. Nothing's ever good enough. And the people on the outside look at that and can't believe that we have so many judgments with our bodies. And women are the worst, because we're giving this model of how we should look, depending on our country. You know, if you're Latin, you're meant to look like Jennifer Lopez. And if you're Australian, you're meant to look like Skippy the bush kangaroo. You know, it's all, there's all different ideas. And everyone has a different idea. But you're perfect exactly as you are. And stop. Stop. Stop the violence. Because truly, when you love yourself, the cellulite disappears. You can't even see it. Yeah, really. You just don't look. You know, you look at this angle. Looking good. Then you turn the light on.
How to let go really? Because sometimes I feel I let go, but it comes back the story. So how to refresh easier?
You know, you have to catch your drama. You say, I let something go, and then it comes back. But that's your drama. If you've really let it go, it's gone. That's just a thought. So why do I want that thought? Because I want to be a victim. I want to feel resentment that there's something wrong, or else there's no reason. If you decide to be free, to let go, to have fun, to forgive, to forget, whatever the word is you use, when the thought comes, you just laugh. That's all. But you have to have the intention. And you have to see how humans love their victim. They love their resentment. They love their judgments. It entertains them. Do you see it? It's not fair. It shouldn't be like that. I deserve more. I should be loved more. I can do better. Like, there's all these thought processes. And we're beyond that. You know, we're in a place of freedom to enjoy, to give, to take life as a game, but a fun game. Not a drama, not a war game. So keep choosing for that. And remember, this too will pass. You know, it's so funny, families, because they get into this, the venganza and drama and not talking to this one and not talking to that one and blah, 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 blah. But when the chips are down and someone's dying or there's some problem or someone criticises that's not in the unit, they all jump to defend, they all run to save, but they hold on to these stupid little dramas and cause angst all the time within their interpersonal relationships. Why? Because the big picture is the love. The love's always there. Below everything, the love's always there.
My question is about, I don't have much patience. I have just a little bit. And it happens in the school a lot because for me it's everything there and it's just to do it. So when they are stuck, the effectiveness, I lose my patience. And I want to know how to develop more the patience.
I don't know. I have zero patience. I think it's severely overrated. I want everything yesterday, quicker, faster, more, bigger, now, go. And everyone does. You know, the thing is you've got to stop suffering. You know, patience, it's not about patience. It's about not projecting yourself onto other people. You know, some people are highly effective. They have the capacity to multitask at the same time. And other people have different talents. So you've got to stop projecting your excellence and expecting the same from other people. You have to be loving in that way. So if you let go of the expectation, apparently that's patience. I just call it letting go of the expectation and appreciating what other people do. You know, different people have different personalities. Some people are super at organising everything. Some people are good at being in the star of the show. Some people are very patient and loving and giving, and they can sit for hours listening to other people. You know, every person has a different function. Some people are very analytical and capable of organising everything. You know, everyone has a different talent. So when do you become impatient? When they're not like you. They should understand. They should get it. But the facts are, they don't. It's that simple. I remember when I started working, within 3 months, I was the boss. And I was 15. And I was bossing everyone around because I was quick. Very quick. I can do a million things at once. And by the time I was 16, we had no employees. I was the employee. And I did everything, which was great for my boss. He didn't have to pay any wages. But as I matured, I started to realise that everyone has a different function. And I have to appreciate that. not criticize that, not compare. Oh, you should be like this, you should be like that, how did you not? Because everyone has something perfect and beautiful to give. And some of those people appear to be a bit stupid. But then they're very talented in other areas. Okay, so see the ego and the need to be superior, the need to get annoyed, because to empower, you push a little bit. You push, but then you let go. It doesn't come with a judgment. Okay, so did I cover everything? I don't know if that's patience, but it works.
How can I stop getting hooked with a person that moves me a lot but without creating separation?
Surrender. You have to surrender to your mother. Get it through your thick head. You just have to surrender to her. You have to get to the point where nothing affects you, because you don't need her approval anymore. She can say whatever she wants. She can say, I like your sister more than you, you're more like your father, I don't like your hair, I think your job's stupid. She can say whatever. And you just look at her with love and surrender. And you will be free. That's your key. Your key to be free. Because always you're looking for injustice. Trying to prove how she doesn't love you. How you're not good enough. And it's all in your head. Because your mother loves you. You're probably identical to your mother. And she doesn't love herself. So it's very hard for her to demonstrate how much she loves you. So you need just to allow everything to move through. Stop defending. Stop insisting how great you are, or that you're doing it well, or she needs to appreciate you. Stop comparing. That will never heal it. So the key is surrender. And it's great to have a complicated mother, because you can surrender, 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 surrender. That's like jumping out of the plane without a parachute. It's very difficult, no? Because every button just gets pushed. And you just want to, I want to kill her! And you enjoy it too. Because then you get to complain. You ring your sister. You ring your friends. You tell your boyfriend. Whatever. Or your 20 boyfriend. I don't know how many you have at the moment. Yeah? Very good, very good.
In one of the books you talk how your nana used to walk so many blocks to buy cheaper
She was
bananas.
Scottish, it wasn't her fault.
At some point I was raised like that. And I have still the chip. I live in Australia, I have good money, but suddenly I have the chip active. I cannot do that. And sometimes I have to shake myself that, yes, I can. Can you tell about Nana?
You know, you have to start pushing the limits. You know, rich people are always rich. They can lose everything, but they'll create it again. Why? Because they feel entitled. They feel entitled. They don't even think about it. You know, they don't care if they overrun their credit cards. They don't care about anything. And yes, they go broke. But they make it again. And there's something that reflects in the universe. That internal abundance reflects. So if you're always penny pinching and counting everything, you create from that space. And I'm not saying you should go crazy, but you have to start pushing the limits. You have to start feeling abundant. You have to start trusting more. And you have to look at reality, because you're no longer that person. You're no longer that person. And you can stay the same, or you can change. Yeah, and it's easy to change. It's just a behaviour and the trust and the flow and seeing this. You know, when I first came to South America, I still had a little bit of my nana in me. And I'd get in my bike and I'd go down and buy pineapples. I used to buy all the food, no? Because I couldn't speak Spanish. And we didn't have much to do, no? They were on the phone to the students. So I'd go and get the food. I'd even do the cooking. I was really impressive, huh? But I'd do everything I could, and we didn't have any money in the beginning, till I sold my property. So I used to go and look for discount everything. You know, it was like that. But then I started to change. Through my consciousness, we started creating, and everything just exploded. So it's about pushing the limits. And it's not about being ridiculous, you know, but it's about always pushing the limits a bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more, until they don't exist anymore. And see that thing of Takanya, no? You know, my nana used to get in the plane, and she'd even take the sick bag. And she'd take the card that said how to put the mask on. She took everything because she paid for it. You know, she'd go into the hotel and she'd take everything. You know, she'd take the toilet if she could disconnect it. But, you know, she was Scottish and she came through the war. She came through the Depression. And she used to save so much money. And we didn't have a money problem. You know, we were quite well to do. And then, after like 12 months, she'd give me a lump of money. She'd say, oh, this is for you. But she would have walked 5 kilometres to buy bananas for 2 cents cheaper. So why? It was a habit. It was a habit. And she enjoyed it. She'd come back with her conquest. Look how much money I saved in Walmart instead of buying here. So see where it's a habit, where it's habitual, an addiction, and a feeling of lack. You know, you're living in Australia and you're still doing that? A little bit.
Can you talk about working under pressure? When I have things to do, I say, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to do this and that. And at the end, the majority, I leave it to the end, and there I have to put pressure. I can produce more when it's the adrenaline involved.
Yeah, but that's the princess drama. And you have to catch it. You got to be more structured, because you know you're trying to create that situation. You want that. And then it doesn't serve, no? You enter into panic, you haven't got time, blah, 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 and it's a drama. So how do you change that? You anchor in consciousness, you move into action constantly. You don't postpone, you don't procrastinate, you just do it. And then there's no panic. Stress represents success. It's an old model in our heads. And it doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't serve anymore. It has to be here, it has to be planned, and it has to move into action.
My question is, how do I take myself less seriously and add joy and playfulness and humor and still in consciousness and in developing consciousness, expanding consciousness?
You know, the development of consciousness is joy, is bliss. The capacity to flow, the spontaneity. It doesn't have a reglement. So just to be you is to be consciousness. To celebrate is to be consciousness. It doesn't have a format. You know, there's no format. How can I be easygoing and exigent at the same time? That's basically what you're asking. So you've got to forget about the exigence and just enjoy. You know, just flow and have fun and be spontaneous as a child and be internally focused. It's very simple. You know, focusing internally isn't complicated. It's just about being there. You're doing it now. You're not even talking. It's easy. You know, I'm here. I'm here. And I move into action. Yeah? Good.
The question is, how can I put the limits outside without becoming controller? Which one is the difference? Because I get lost there.
You have to see where you're coming from fear, or where you're putting a limit because it's appropriate. You know, we do have to exist in society. There are certain codes, and we have to behave in a certain way. But there's places where we limit because we're afraid of losing something, because it affects our image. So those limits are not clean. So you just have to be very clear in your own consciousness. What am I experiencing? Am I being fearful? Am I aplastando the child? Worrying if she's going to fit in? You know, you have to have that clear. And trust in yourself. You know, you have to trust in yourself. You can only do the best you can do. And obviously, in society, there are limits, no? Of course. There's things you can't do.
Come visit our webpage for books, movies, and our wonderful retreat centers. Isha's simple yet powerful system is transforming lives around the world.